So, we are nearing the release of Urgency and also the end of patch 1.5 in general, and welcoming the highly demanding characters of 1.6, drratio and Ranmei. Now, I say highly demanding because of how good the current roster of characters are. drratio and Ranmei have to bring something new to the table, and I assure you that they will, as I am really excited for these two characters. But keeping that out of the way, I made this video as a kind of recap of the characters we have so far. And as the title says, we'll be going over the best characters with their respective element type. And by best, I mean the overall value these characters provide for their respective role and teams. But before we get into that, a quick disclaimer. The characters listed in this video will be from my own personal opinion. So don't rage at me in the comment section if I don't mention your favorite characters. So with that out of the way, let's get into it.
Converge and awaken.
Quantum has been a really unique and interesting element, right up there with imaginary, and though completely unrelated, bears sort of a resemblance to another character in a certain game. I wonder who that could be. Conspiracy theories aside, there are three characters that really stand out from this element. Sorry Xingshui mains, but she is not one of them. Seele, Silverwolf, and Fuxuan have been amazing units in their respective zones, easily being S tier. But for overall value, I just gotta hand it over to Fuxuan. I mean, even I don't have her, but I recognize just how good she is in being able to single-handedly take on the role of two paths simultaneously, considering you have her light cone. Let's face it, Seele has sort of fallen off in the meta, and of course she can still clear up the hardest content, but she doesn't provide as much value as a DPS. As for Silverwolf, I've put her right behind Fuxuan, an amazing all-rounder that can absolutely carry your team, no matter the enemies. But as I said, Fuxuan just takes it for me just by a little. Oh, and don't forget the new 4-star Shuyi who is coming up in 1.6, cause Quantum and Destruction just sounds like an amazing combo to me. Looking at the roster of imaginary characters right now, there isn't much to talk about. Loka is amazing, but can just choke your entire team when they need him most. Trust me on this one, I've been there quite a couple of times. But shifting our focus to Dan Heng, he is absolutely amazing, being the best in the game at his specific role, which is dishing out damage, and he does just that. I had been really excited for him ever since he got announced, but sadly enough, I lost 50-50 on him to an E1 Bronya. And on that note, I'd like to hear about your own experience in pulling for characters so far, so comment down below about it. drratio, on the other hand, is proving to be promising, despite being a Hunt character. And I don't know why, but whenever I look at him, I just think he's a Quantum character. It's got something to do with the hair, I suppose. But that aside, I believe drratio is gonna create a new staple for Hunt characters and maybe DPSs in general. Heck, I believe he'll even be able to rival Dan Heng in dealing damage, but sadly, he's not released yet, so Dan Heng takes it for imaginary. And now we move on to probably my favorite element in the game, Wind. And in this section, the competition really is between Bronya, Woho, and my favorite character, Blade. Bronya is absolutely amazing, though she's just a standard character. And with how starrail is constantly dishing out new characters, there's no doubt she's gonna get overtaken. I mean, Ranmei is already giving her a run for her money despite being unreleased. So that leaves us with Woho and Blade. And being completely unbiased, Woho is the best overall unit for this element, and maybe even the best for her role, as she does have more upfront healing than Loka, and provides more value by being a hybrid harmony character. Blade is amazing and is also the character who started the solo runs in the entire game, an absolute beast in the right conditions, and the lore-wise Blade will probably be the best character in the game, as he just will not die against the current enemies. Who's gonna stop a lore-wise or E6 Blade?
Jeopard, Kafka, the everyone's here? Heck, not even the Swarm are gonna stop him. Small talk aside, Woofo takes it for the win element.
Lightning is up next on the roster, with Jingyuan and Kafka neck and neck in their roles. It's a bit hard to pick a better overall character. But unlike Jingyuan, Kafka is a sort of supportive character, being an enabler. So overall, I'd say she's better than Jingyuan. Though it might be a bit surprising, I'd actually put Xingyun above the both of them, considering her role. Despite being a 4-star, she is arguably the second best harmony character in the game, and is actually the best when paired with some characters. namely Dongheng, Jingliu, and if you've ever paired her together with Ho, you know that your team will literally never run out of energy, because they keep on supplying each other with that energy. The only downside with her is that she attracts enemies like a magnet. Even with a destruction unit on your team, your Tingyun is never gonna be safe. In my opinion, Tingyun is amazing overall and takes it for the lightning elements. Moving over to ice, I'll try to be quick on this one. Marsh and Herta are not worth talking about. Japara, despite being an absolute chad earlier on in the game, has recently gotten overshadowed by Fushuen, which is normal as he is a standard character. Yansheng though is really lacking in the DPS category, which leaves us with Pella and Jingliu. Pella is by all means amazing, being able to provide defense shred, which is something very rare in this game coming from characters. But obviously, Jingliu is taking this as she's right behind Dongheng in their role. Absolutely amazing all round, and as a Jingliu haver myself, I can really appreciate what she brings to the current roster of characters. But before we move on, we can't forget the character who, in my opinion, will be the best character in 1.6, Ron Mei, as she will be our very first limited harmony character, which alone will just shatter the meta. In my opinion, she will undoubtedly be the best ice character when she releases, and I won't be surprised if she becomes the best support and overall character in the entire game. We just gotta wait and see. Now, fire has been a really unimpactful element in the game for me, and there's not much to talk about here, as Nombi and its pet Topaz just sweep the current roster of fire characters as a DPS/supportive character. They easily take this one. Last but not the least, we have physical, and just like fire, we have a clear winner, which is Clara. The only other characters I can even put close to her are Natasha, Luca, and maybe an absolutely cracked physical Trailblazer. Sorry Shushang mains, but Trailblazer just has the perks of destruction. But considering how close we are to the second patch of 1.5, I might as well consider Argenti and Hanya as released. And if we do consider them as released, Argenti is easily gonna overshadow Clara, as he is a limited character whilst Clara is a standard character, and they are both damage dealers. But in my opinion, I believe Hanya will be the best overall physical character, because she is a harmony character in the first place, which is very good, but interestingly enough, her kit focuses on providing skill points, which is absolutely huge for characters like Dongheng, Seele. I mean, every single DPS but Blade is gonna want her on their team for that sort of utility and comfort. Argenti is more than welcome to surprise everyone and be the best erudition unit, but Hanya is my pick for physical. That was a lot to talk about, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, be sure to drop a like and a sub, and stick around, because I will be covering more starrail content on this channel. And even though I have decided to cover this on a poll, I would also like to ask you guys if you will be down for some Genshin content in the near future, and also probably some Zenlesszonezero. And if you don't know what Zenlesszonezero is, it's the next Hoyoverse game that's going to be coming out in late 2024. With that said, I'll catch you guys on the next one.